It is 12. You are listening to the Mid-Morning Talk on Slow Media with me, Maryam Mkwanda. If you have any comments, questions, queries, or suggestions, please leave them in the comment section or send them to us on WhatsApp. The number is 061 766 0355. Today, we are talking about social media addiction and the effects of social media addiction. So, social media originated as a way for family and friends to keep in touch, especially for those who live globally, internationally, or wherever they are, or those long lost friends that we used to go to school with, but we somehow lost contact with due to moving places and changing cities, etc. So when social media came about, that was a cool way to reconnect with those people and to reminisce of the old days. And over the years, social media has really transformed, and not just that, but we've seen a rise in different types of social media and different ways of us of communicating. And this has been of great use, especially last year during the lockdown, the pandemic, when we were using our mobile devices to and our other devices to connect with our families and friends globally. In fact, uh, 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 it was a really cool way to find out and to catch up with everyone else and to find out how they are doing and how they are coping with the pandemic. And social media is also now being used as a business tool, to increase businesses out there. It gives people ideas. It's a great marketing tool. It's also a great platform to sell and showcase your products, and also for nonprofit organizations to tell what they are all about and to create a buzz around who they are. And even politicians use social media for to target their specific market. But then what happens when social media becomes addictive? What happens when you mindlessly scroll through your feeds day in and day out, where you spend nights awake watching the videos, pressing the like buttons, posting your own stuff to get that instant sensation, that feeling of a like, from the people? What happens when you start getting addicted to using filters, where you feel people don't even know who you are anymore or what you look like anymore because of that? I think it's instant gratification that. But let me not talk too much about this, because I do have addiction counselor Marco Arcidiacono, who is on the line and is going to tell us more about social media addiction. Hi, Marco. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks. And yourself?
Good, thank you.
All right. So first of all, what is social media addiction?
Well, social media addiction, it's a psychological addiction, very similar to substance abuse disorder. Now, where substance abuse disorder is more of a physical addiction, this is like I say, a psychological addiction, and we've seen that it affects the same parts of the brain that people who struggle with a abuse disorder. It affects the same parts of the brain that these people, the exact same parts of the brain. Sorry. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, it can become very addictive as your street drugs.
Wow. So
Mm.
why is it so addictive though?
It all comes back to dopamine,
Yeah.
right? So as you were mentioning instant gratification, and instant gratification plays a role in this. Now,
Mm-hmm.
with social media tends to release or trigger a release of dopamine in the brain, as with your street drugs. Now, if I could
Yeah.
just put it in, give you a reference point here with
Yeah.
dopamine, just for better understanding, right? Um, a normal person, their their dopamine levels, if when you wake up in the morning and you have that first cup of coffee and you go to work and you perform your daily tasks, all right,
Mm-hmm.
and we're looking at dopamine levels of 50 nanograms per deciliter of blood. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you're having a terrible day, a bad day, you wake up in the morning, you don't feel like going to work, you don't feel like doing anything, everything that you do feels like 1,000 times harder than what it normally is. They were looking at dopamine levels of 40 nanograms per deciliter. Now, if you could imagine your best day ever, just, I don't know, for everybody it's subjective, but for you, if you could just picture the best day you've ever had, and on top of that, you're surrounded by all your loved ones and you've won the lottery. Okay. There we're looking at dopamine levels of 100. 100 nanograms per deciliter. Now, people who abuse substances, your street drugs, crystal meth, heroin, we're talking about dopamine levels in the high hundreds, 8 to 900 nanograms per deciliter. And the thing with social media, people who struggle with social media addiction, their dopamine levels are triggered also in the high hundreds. And this is why it becomes so addictive for them. And on top of that, social media is offering this an immediate reward with this dopamine release for basically no effort involved. All you do is you put a picture on social media, or you share a post and you get comments and likes, and that starts releasing that dopamine. And so it's taking absolutely no effort, and you getting rewarded for it.
What are the traits of a social media addict?
Well, the average person spends about 2 hours a day on social media. So I think anybody who's spending more than 2 hours a day is you treading into the addiction or addictive side of social media.
So basically, we should be limiting our time.
Yeah. Also, like you mentioned earlier, people taking a lot of selfies, people posting a lot of selfies on social media, people who that using a lot of filters as well to now on their selfies. It's, again, you start putting selfies on social media and you're getting likes and you're getting comments, but you're not getting over time, you're not getting the required amount that you're looking for. Maybe you get 100 likes, for example, but you start to again build up a tolerance, like you build up a tolerance with street drugs. So you need more. So 100 likes is not doing it for you anymore. So now you start posting pictures with filters to make yourself look better, and now you start getting 200 likes. But again, that it reaches a point, and then you start editing more and more and more. And then you start putting more and more photos on for more likes, more comments.
And you also become upset when you don't receive the amount of likes that you're looking for. It's like, an achievement, you want to achieve a certain amount of likes, or you want to achieve a certain amount of comments or shares or whatever the case, such that it becomes problematic when you don't receive them.
Yes, exactly. And it's in a way that it's a driving force as well. So when you're not getting what you're looking for, then you try harder and you do more in order to attain that.
Wow. And how does social media affect a person, like in general? How does it affect us, and also other relationships?
Okay, so it affects, like I was saying, the brain, how it affects the brain. There's a clear degradation of the white matter regions of the brain, the things that control in areas that control things like your emotional processing, your decision making, your attention span. For the emotional side of things, there was a very interesting study that was done. What happened is they tested it on 680,000 Facebook users, and they removed all the positive posts from their newsfeed. And so they just showed these users negative posts, and the users started posting negative posts themselves. And then over time they reversed it, and they just started posting positive posts. And then the very same users only posted positive posts. So it has a very direct impact on the emotional state of a person. And then also it affects a person's multitasking ability. You'd think that it would improve it, but it doesn't. People just their multitasking ability goes down. The ability to process and store information into your memory also goes down when you become addicted to social media.
Well, I thought that we'd be multitasking when we're busy eating there and scrolling through our feeds and
You see, the thing is, if you're working and you're busy with work, and all of a sudden you get a notification on your phone, you immediately stop what you're doing and you pick up your phone to see what's happening. Did somebody comment on my photo? Did somebody like my photo? So we stop when you're addicted to social media, you stop everything to see what's happening on social media.
is there help for people who are addicted to social media?
There is help. There is help, and there's also things that you can do yourself
Yeah.
to try and limit your social media usage. One very, very helpful thing is muting notifications. I think that is one of the best things that people can do. You see,
Yeah.
I think this is the biggest trigger. You see, with any addiction, there's always triggers, and trigger is something that elicits this response within you. So it's something that will that either you see, you hear, or you smell that leads to a craving, and a craving is what drives you, what makes you want to use the substance. So if we're talking in terms of social media, the biggest trigger is your notifications. As soon as your phone makes a notification, like I was saying, you're working and you get a notification on your phone, you want to see, you want to know what's happening. So when we're talking addiction in general, we want to try remove triggers from our lives. And it's the same with social media. So you want to remove those triggers. So the biggest trigger is your notifications on your phone. So, and it's very simple. All you need to do is just go into the settings and mute those notifications. That way, you're not always checking your Facebook or your Instagram feeds. And then another good trick I've picked up is just to what a lot of people do on their smartphones, on their home screen, is you have the social media apps on your home screen.
Yeah.
Just remove them from there. You know, with
I'm gonna do
smartphones now,
that
you can
right
create
now.
folders, and you can put the apps in a folder, and so it's slightly more effort to go into the app. You have to find it now and then go into it, instead of you unlock your phone and then you see Facebook, so it's one of the first things you click.
Yeah, and another
And
thing
then
also.
another good thing to try and do is to try. Oh yes, no. Sorry, I was saying another good thing is just to try treat social media as you would other entertainment platforms such as television and video games. Have a set time that you do these things. When you're at work, you're not watching TV, you're not playing video games. So try do the same with social media. Try limit it, like only an hour, maybe at 6 p.m. or something in the evening. This is the time I use social media, and that's it. If you're struggling to do that, then try put yourself on a social media detox. Try not use social media for a certain amount of days. Again, if you're struggling to do that, then you might have to consider if you're addicted to social media or not.
Wow. Wow. Marco, what about having a partner or a friend, somebody close to you who's addicted to social media, and they just won't put their phone away, they won't put their phone down, and you basically can't get through to them? You try to tell them about it and they disregard the fact that they are addicted to a social media or to their mobile phones, because sometimes a person won't be addicted to social media. They'll just be browsing through their phone, perhaps rereading old messages, or going through old pictures or memes or whatever the case might be. So this also becomes problematic.
Yes, it does become problematic. You see, then we're looking, if someone's not really necessarily, as you say, on social media and they're just going through their phone, we're looking at an escape. Why are they escaping? Why do they need to, or feel the need to, now not be engaged in the world around them, but now escape to some, or find some need to escape, and now they're using their phone. So co- communication is very important in this. We need to sit down with that individual and talk and find out why. It's not enough to sit down with somebody and say, listen, you're on your phone too much, you shouldn't be on your phone. I
Yeah.
don't like it when you're on your phone, or things like that. You can say those things, but it's not reaching through to them. You're not getting through to them. You're not getting to the core issues of why they are doing this. And I think that's the most important thing. It's the same with substance abuse. You can't tell somebody who's using drugs, I don't like that you're using drugs, please stop, because there's a root cause. There's a reason why. Um, there's underlying issues as to why they are doing these things, and without proper investigation into these reasons, you actually never going to get to the bottom line.
All right.
So I think communication is very, very important. Sorry.
No, that's fine. So, Marco, how can people get a hold of you should they require any further information? I do believe that you also do counseling for drug and alcohol abuse and rehabilitation as well.
Yes, so I am an addiction counselor at a drug and alcohol rehabilitation center called Freedom Recovery Center. All our information is on the website. It's freedomrecoverycenter.co.za. And then I don't know if I'm happy to give my number out,
Yeah,
and then people can
that's
contact
okay.
me, and then speak to me anytime. They can just send me a WhatsApp and I'll respond to them.
Yes,
All
no
right, so
problem.
my number is 078-835-9190.
All right. So, thank you so much for your time, Marco, and for sharing that information with us. And have a wonderful day.
Thank you, ma'am. You too.
Bye bye. That was addiction counselor Marco Arcidiacono taking us through social media addiction and its effects. If you are addicted, or you might know someone who is addicted to social media, there needs to be an intervention. You need a detox. You need to, like Marco said, mute those notifications, take a detox from your social media. Now is a good time to start, especially since the month of Ramadan will be coming up. And you know how it gets, it can, social media is very distracting. Like you would leave everything you're doing just to go and attend to your feed, your social media, to see what everybody's getting up to see who commented on your last post, your last picture, to see who replied to your comment, to see who did this, to see who did that. It becomes a problem such that it takes over your life. Now your life becomes a social media frenzy that it's just what you want, because of that dopamine that um uh, uh, uh is it excreted, that dopamine effect that you get. It's like a drug. Social media is a drug. Basically, it's just a different form of drugs that you think is not addictive because it's not a substance that you're putting into your body, but the release of the chemical dopamine is what makes it exactly like your other drugs, your alcohol as well. And also try not to go to bed with your phone. If you can switch off your data, your Wi-Fi, whatever, before you go to bed, and put your phone as far as possible as you can. Perhaps that could also help you. And if you don't have data, try try going without data, especially if you have a contract phone and your data finishes. Try going until the next month without data, especially if you have a problem with social media. So there are ways to work around this addiction that you might have. I think because it's something that is relatively new, I'm not sure if there are any particular um, companies or organizations that deal with social media addiction per se. But as Marco shared the contact details, you can go to www.freedom recovery center. The details are on the screen right now. Freedomrecoverycenter.co.za for more information, and you can also give Marco a call or WhatsApp message on 0788 359 190, and you can ask any questions or ask for assistance if you require it. It is 12:20. You are listening to the Mid Morning Talk on Salam Media with me, Maryam Mkwanda. We will be right back.